Welcome to the Life with Joey Calvo podcast. I'm Joey Calvo. Check out our website, lifewithjoeycalvo.website, for upcoming events, how you can support the podcast, as well as seeing previous episodes. So today we have Charles Rosenay, Charles Rose, who's a producer, actor, author, entertainer, humorist, raconteur with 4 pop culture books out on horror movies, on the Beatles, on ghost stories, on the Turtles. And I remember the Turtles very well. And he's a host of and organizer of the Magical History Tour to Liverpool for Beatles Fans and Dracula Tours to Transylvania vampire-themed vacations. So, Charles, welcome to the podcast.
Joey, so many credits, so much crazy stuff, right?
Yeah. So we're going to explain. So I'm going to have you all explain all that crazy stuff. What got you towards all that crazy stuff?
Yeah. So half of my life literally is music, rock and roll, pop culture. And the other half is the spooky stuff. Dracula Tours to Transylvania, Paranormal Conventions, horror books. My press credentials have to be updated because I've got 5 books out now.
Okay.
With another book coming out in September. So amidst all the conventions and the tours and all the stuff I do, for Beatles fans and for music and rock and roll and all the stuff I do for the horror and the paranormal, got some more books out and some more fun stuff coming up. And I think, how did we meet? Through conventions, right?
No, actually, you met me via podcast guests.
Oh, that's crazy. For some reason, I thought we knew each other from like Chiller or one of those, fan conventions. But right, podcast.
I have never been, no lie, I have never been to a horror convention, Comic-Con, not even, the closest to a convention type was Candles. That was 2000.
Wow. I live for them. My real life is DJing. I entertain at weddings and bar mitzvahs and school dances and all that. But if I don't do those over a weekend, I'm either at a horror con or a Beatles fest or some sort of music or genre thing, because
right.
For years, Joey, I used to go to those shows. I was the one who would try to get everyone's autograph and take pictures with the celebrities. And now it's like I'm blessed. I'm on the other side of the table, signing copies of my books, talking to people. I've been in, as like 30, 40 movies. So, people say, oh, yeah, I saw you in such and such. I want to get a picture with you. I'm like, yeah, I'm honored. It's not like these celebrities, charge money for a photo. I'm just honored to take a photo with someone.
Yeah. Well, in reference to that, I've never gone to a con like that before. I've been wanting to go to a Comic-Con type thing, and you'll understand why in a little bit in reference to it. So, but what got you into that stuff is
right
where I want.
Sure. So, mom and dad, I was the only child. We wanted to do everything together. If they went to sleep at midnight, I didn't go to sleep till midnight, 3, 4 years old. I don't know. I wasn't spoiled, but I was definitely treated right. And, the radio, we grew up in New York, the radio would be on. We'd be listening to all the AM stations and the Beatles and the Monkees and the Four Seasons and Motown, all that great stuff. It would be on 24 hours. It was a loud Bronx house.
I grew up in New Jersey, so.
Yeah, exactly. Same thing.
Yep.
And so we did that stuff. And mom always said, she wanted to get me into the horror movies too. Dad loved that I loved baseball. Mom loved that I loved all the music stuff. But her other thing she was big on was Boris Karloff, Bela Lugosi, Vincent Price, Lon Chaney, all the Universal horrors and the classic stuff, which I just eat that up, Joey. And so It took a while, but she got me into it, and I was hooked. I would get every monster model and build it. I would go get the famous monsters of Filmland magazines and all that, never thinking that someday I'd be in horror movies, or that I ran my own haunted house for years, or that I would write, the book of top 10 horror lists. Which, oh no, how am I going to get that? It's not going to work. All right, anyway. And what happened is I was doing Beatles tours to Liverpool since 1983. Beatles fans wants to go to Liverpool, wants to go with fellow fans, wants to have the ultimate experience. They would come with me to London and Liverpool. And my buddy goes, Charles, you love the horror stuff as much as you love the Beatles and the rock and roll and the 60s and the British invasion. Why don't you do a horror tour? And I go, what am I going to do? A trip to Transylvania? And the light bulb went off. And it was, I'm going to do a trip to Transylvania. 1998 was the first one. And this year, 28 years later, it's going strong, still doing it's. I even have the website by my name. Track tours to Transylvania. So fun, so amazing. And a lot of it is because, my parents were so supportive of making me love these things. And somehow I was able to turn them into, some of the things I actually do in life.
Okay. And so you went from there, you went and started writing these books on the Beatles and the Monkees, and then also doing horror as well. And I know juggling is a project in itself.
Insane, right?
Between the two, because it's like if it's not the music time, it's close to Halloween, and you're into the horror part.
Yes. So I'm glad you mentioned the juggling, because I just finished putting on Connecticut's 6th annual Paranormal Convention. I produce CT Paracon with my partner Thomas Gormley. We're a team called the Shaman and The Showman, and just finished this weekend. Done. We're recording on Monday. On August 8th and 9th, I've got the Connecticut Witch Festival. On August 22nd and 23rd, the Connecticut Summer Psychic Fair. September 3rd, 4th, and 5th, you mentioned the Monkees. We got the national event. It's the Monkees Fan Convention M60. I get to take a few breaths then between, and then all of October is Halloween. I'm running the Haunted Trolley. I'll be acting. I'll be directing. I'll be, hopefully scaring some people and giving them entertainment. And then I don't breathe again, because November is the Salem Paranormal Convention. It's one thing after another. And meanwhile, the books are coming out while I'm doing all this stuff.
Okay. All right. So you said you're going to be busy with all the way through. In reference to the paranormal conventions and so on, in that you do,
yes.
What actually goes into it? Because like I said, I've never been to those type of conventions, and I'm not saying I don't believe in ghosts or anything, but what actually is put into a convention like that?
It's so multifaceted. So you've got, a portion of the room is readers, psychics, tarot card readers, people who are there to read your fortune, to tell you about past lives, perhaps to communicate with loved ones who are no longer with us. Then there's the merch, the horror memorabilia, the people who do the cool candles. Someone was doing different incense. So another one had themed cookies. Literally everything you can imagine that could be sold at this type of event that is either in the horror field or ghost, spooky, whatever. They had it. And of course, I had my brand new book, which just was released this past weekend, True Ghost Stories of Connecticut and New England.
Okay.
And I was selling copies of them, and they're flying out the door. Ordered hundreds and almost sold out of every single copy, and signed them, and people were walking away just ecstatic. That people want to get a copy. The first one I put out was a few years back, True Ghost Stories of Connecticut. The new one is True Ghost Stories of Connecticut and New England, and that's available through Amazon. What else goes on? Well, we have a ballroom where there's guest speakers. So it's panel after panel after panel. You could literally just plop yourself into a seat and listen to just different people talk about different subjects, from Sasquatch, Bigfoot, to talking with communicating with animals who've passed, to talking about witchery, just everything after, literally everything that has to do with the unexplained, the abnormal, the paranormal, that all fits those genres. And the guest speakers we get are through the roof amazing. So now, in addition to that, we also had some celebrity actor guests. And this was unique because we had the first Jason, Ari Lehman, who'd played at the end of the Friday the 13th in 1980, the kid who jumps out of the water. And we had James Stokes, who's one of the recent fan horror movie Jason Voorhees, and they were together. And so you're getting little of every aspect, plus food trucks, plus those like Hollywood cars. We had one of the cars from Men in Black.
Okay.
And then we had Baby, the car from Supernatural. So people were getting free photo ops with the cars all day. It's just, to me, it's just endless fun with people who have similar interests and are kindred spirits and kind of love the same, spooky stuff that one another does. So it's like being in a room with, people who are your family of interest, who have the same loves as you do.
Okay. So you mentioned the original Jason, and you said there was another Jason. I've never heard of that Jason. I've heard of Kane Hodder.
Kane Hodder is one of the more famous ones. Yeah. I think there was 13 official film Jasons, including a few stuntmen. I'm really not sure, but I overheard that. So while there was a lull in putting out Friday the 13th movies, which pretty much stopped, and now there's going to be a new series on the Voorhees family that's going to be coming out soon, which is I'm very excited about. So professional, semi-professional, amateur films were put out where Jason continued his slaughters. Mm-hmm. And it was like fan fiction, but on the highest possible level. So James Stokes is an actor who's probably like 70 or 80 credits to him. Was in Stranger Things, won an independent film award, and he was one of the Jasons. And you could Google James Stokes and you could probably find it. And you see the promo shot of him with the mask, and he's massive and he is menacing. And in true life, he's the sweetest guy. He's a teddy bear.
Okay.
So that was cool, having like an original Jason and a more current Jason. And if Kane Hodder was there, we would have had the one from in the middle.
Yeah.
People don't realize, Friday the 13th trivia. The killer in the first movie wasn't Jason. It was the mom. And the mask wasn't worn. The hockey mask wasn't put on till the third movie.
Okay. So you're saying that the character that was played by Jamie Lee Curtis was the killer in the first one?
That's Halloween.
Oh, wrong. Okay, sorry. Wrong movie.
That's okay. No, Halloween. I
always mixed the two.
Halloween, Michael Myers.
I'm not much of a big horror fan. I did watch Jason Takes Manhattan, and I was like, okay.
Terrible. That's after he jumped the shark when he went to Manhattan, and Jason X, he's on a spaceship or something. He's on another planet. Yeah. No, get those. Those were just money grabs.
Yeah.
But I got to tell you, the early ones are solid. The first one, classic. The ending jump scare. one of the all-time greats. Sean Cunningham, put out an amazing film that's going to live forever and have its fans go on forever. But Joey, what I'm doing in essence is I've got a Paracon, but I'm adding the horror elements because I love the horror stuff. And then there's people who come because they might not come if it was just a Paracon, thinking, oh, what am I going to get? A psychic reading?
Yeah.
But then they go there to meet a Jason, or last year we had Butch Patrick, we had Eddie Munster. And so,
Eddie Munster himself. Yeah, I remember watching the Munsters growing up.
What a sweetheart. And he was our guest last year. So people came to see him, and then they said, whoa, I never realized what a Paracon was. It's fun. It's like a regular fan horror convention, but it also has the supernatural stuff.
Okay. And so we mentioned Eddie Butch Patrick. We mentioned the Jasons. How about like the Michael Myers, the Pinheads?
Yeah.
The little guy on that pedals and saw.
Chucky.
Yeah,
there's endless.
I mean, like I said, I'm not much into horror movies, but I've seen some.
And
there's fact.
Yeah, and there's national horror conventions that are on that level that have 50 of those guests.
Yeah.
And every next table is more famous a star than other. And I'm doing a shout out to Chiller in New Jersey. They have one of the greatest conventions in the world, and I go to it. I bring guests to it. I go in there. I sign books too. But this one is it's local. It's Connecticut. It's very family oriented. We just try to give people a cheap ticket, fun time, and do it every year. And it's been very successful. And the smart thing about it, if I can say so myself, is it creates goodwill, so they want to go. They pick up a flyer on the Dracula tour. Oh, Charles, you just did the Paracon. You're doing that. We think we trust you. We're going to go on that. They say, oh, you have a book out? Yeah, the book of top 10 horror lists, true ghost stories in Connecticut. They want to get the book. What's your next thing we can go to? We're having the Connecticut Witch Fest, August 8th and 9th. Oh, we'll go to that too. That kind of thing. So one thing leads to another.
Okay. So my question for you is, how do you get the sponsors for these Paracons and horror cons? Because just to let you know, I'm actually in the process of doing a meet and greet event myself, where I'm having previous guests come down to Atlantic City and sign away. They would be selling their books or selling their autographs and selfie pictures and so on, for them to make cash on their own in reference to it. But I would be bringing them together for the audience to see.
Yes.
So I'm in the process of working it out. And I would love to find a sponsor.
Me too.
Yeah.
I've been doing shows since, ready for this, 1978.
Wow.
The only times I would get sponsors were in the early days of the Beatles festivals, when a radio station was maybe just changed its format and wanted to be involved in the event, and they would sponsor by trading radio time for being involved at the show. Sponsorships are so tough that the best way, corporate dollar, if I'm Pepsi, I ain't giving it to Joey or Charles. I'm giving it to a national feed the kids nonprofit.
Yeah.
And I get that. So what do you got to do? You got to appeal to the fans.
Yeah.
And see if they'll do small sponsorships. It's it's not quite GoFundMe, because that's the bottom level of that. But you put it out there, and sometimes, like, I have a monkeys convention coming up, the M60 show, September 4th, 5th, and 6th, and I put it out there, and we've actually gotten a bunch of fans who've sponsored the show, but they're getting the VIP package for 3 days. They're getting maybe a free copy of my book, maybe a merch. It's all we're getting $500 worth of stuff or $200 worth of stuff. Whatever the sponsorship level they've put in, they're going to get back and do well with it. So that's how I see it. It's tough. Even film companies, I'm in a lot of movies as we know, and some of those ask if I know a way to get them a sponsor. I don't know. Tell them you'll put them in the movie if they give you. It's a new thing now. Is you pay to play.
Yeah.
You pay the director and the producer. They'll give you a cameo in the movie. I don't know.
Right. In reference to your acting, what movies have you done that I may have heard of?
I played Elton John on HBO's Flight of the Concorde. It was me and Patton Oswalt in the second season. Wow. The episode is called Prime Minister. That's one of my favorite credits. I've been in a lot of grade D horror movies that you may, if you're not a horror guy, you wouldn't have heard of. But in most of them, I get killed, which is always a pleasure. Wow. And I'm in something called Halloween Candy, which just passed a million views between YouTube and Tubi and all that. And and I have a cameo in Halloween Candy 2, so that's coming out Halloween. But if you go to my iMdb page, you're going to say, "Oh my gosh, I didn't realize that he was in that many things." But mostly cameos, extra work. I've been in the same shot with the Rolling Stones on a Martin Scorsese film. I was with Kristen Wiig and Ben Stiller on the set and outdoors with The Secret Life of Walter Mitty. So I have a bunch of real good credits, but I don't really care about those as much as I do the low budget horror movies where I got to play, either a zombie or a zombie killer or a vampire or anything, that from the stuff I love. I'd rather do that. To me, the acting is just a sideline gig. I'm never going to be, a Hollywood actor where I make big bucks. So just have fun with that.
Well, believe it or not, I remember growing up and on Saturday nights they had Zachary and Crypt Keeper.
Sure.
And even they even did. I remember the Friday the 13th series they even did back then.
That's right.
That was short lived. Zachary was interesting because he made it. And of course you got Elvira now, and she looks great for her age now, in reference to it. In reference to
of course,
movies, actresses, horror actresses to see.
They're called horror hosts.
Horror hosts, that's right.
Elvira is the top of the chain, and then Zachary forever, the cool ghoul, loved him. Yeah. And then there's Sven Gulli. There's so many. Every town literally had its own horror host.
Yeah, Sven Gulli, I'm not a big fan of.
I think he's on MeTV now.
Yeah, he's on MeTV. Yeah, but growing up watching Zachary, you want to talk about fright. He put the fright into it. But I'm gonna tell you this story. Speaking of horror,
sure.
All right, I'm gonna date myself back to 1976.
Okay.
And there was a movie called Grizzly. Okay, where the grizzly bear was out killing people and everything.
Right.
Now I grew up in New Jersey, like I said, and right outside my house there was a little bit of woods.
Right.
So I had a nightmare that the bear came through the woods, in the back door, through the kitchen, up the steps, directly to my room for me, and got me. 1976, because my brother took me and I was just freaked the hell out at 5 years old.
It was one of those fan favorite movies. Grizzly was 76, and some people said it inspired Jaws, believe it or not. The only movie that gave me nightmares was Wait Until Dark. And you wouldn't think so. It's Alan Arkin plays against type as a bad guy. And it's a gal is it's a home invasion type of thing. And I don't know what happened, but the night I went to sleep, I kept thinking they were coming in through my window. I was dreaming all night. There's no rhyme or reason. You give me the scariest movie, it doesn't do it. And then Audrey Hepburn in Wait Until Dark, and that one's the one that gives me nightmares.
I mean, I can remember watching the movie Cat's Eye with Natasha Kinski.
Right.
That was an interesting movie. Like it's even though I wasn't like you said, I'm not a big fan of horror, but Natasha Kinski back then,
she does it for you. Hey, we mentioned Me TV, which is where Sven Gulli has his show. There's a show called Collector's Corner. Okay. And every month, whatever they do a new episode, they focus on someone who has a ridiculous collection. They might have collection of musical instruments. They might have a collection of nothing but Batman, whatever they have. And they did an episode on the Monkees. And guess who they called on to be the Monkees expert? So me, I was the expert. I was the co-host with Lisa Welchel, and we went over.
So you got to work with. How was it working with Blair from Facts of Life? She looks great after all these years.
Joey, I think she had a crush on me. If I tell the truth, no, kidding. She was very sweet.
Yeah.
And I was right at the time I was working on my book, the book of top 10 Beatles lists. And we can actually see it there for a second. And and I said, this is a book where celebrities give me their top 10 Beatle lists. Would you do it? And I think I put her on the spot because she said, call my publicist. I called her publicist, and she gave me a list for the book. That was
cool.
That was the follow-up to the book of top 10 horror lists.
Yeah.
I don't have that with me. Where 100 celebrities gave me their top 10 favorite horror lists.
Okay. So in reference to you mentioned Lisa Welchel. Who else which other celebrities gave you their lists?
So many, because it was like a third of it was actors, actresses, pop culture people, a third of it was rock stars, and a third of it was people connected to the Beatles, like Pete Best, their first drummer, John Lennon's sister. But a quick list over here is Tommy Chong from Cheech and Chong. Tommy James from Tommy James and the Shondells.
Yep.
Mackenzie Phillips from One Day at a Time.
Wow.
Lisa, of course. Leo Sayer. You make me feel like
I know who Leo Sayer is. Believe me, I listened to his music growing up.
Dave Winfield, the Baseball Hall of Famer.
All right, all you Yankee fans, just because you heard Dave Winfield, that's as far as you're going. Okay, I'm a Mets fan. All right,
San Diego Padre fans too, right?
Yeah. Well, more Yankee, because he was more of a Yankee than a Padre.
I think so. Wait a second. You're in Philadelphia and you're a Mets fan?
Well, I grew up in New Jersey.
Dude, I love you. I grew up in the Bronx, and I'm a Mets fan.
Yep. Let's just say it this way. I grew up in New Brunswick, so I'm Rutgers all the way in reference to college.
Right.
And of course, they had that war of there's no such thing as Central Jersey until former Governor Murphy actually said, yes, there is a Central Jersey. Well, but within Central Jersey, you were either a Yankees fan or a Mets fan. Right. Or if you were in South Jersey, you're a Phillies fan.
Right.
Or if you're in North Jersey, you're either a Giants fan or Jets fan.
Yeah, I get it.
I'm a 49er fan.
Oh, it's crazy. I live in Connecticut now. I'm still a Mets fan, but I think most of this state is split between Yankees and Red Sox.
Oh. And you know who the most famous Red Sox fan is?
Most famous Red Sox fan. I give up. Who?
Jimmy Fallon.
He sure is. He was in that movie.
Yep. Fever Pitch. Yep. With Drew Barrymore. Yep.
Right. Great movie, actually.
Yep. And now since he's in New York, he's gotten to be more of a New York
sports fan.
Yeah. But in reference to it, and of course, hockey-wise, Devils. Unless you live in South Jersey, then it's Flyers.
Right, I get it.
Yeah, but and if you're in South Jersey, it's Eagles.
I'm just remembering. I produced or helped produce or co-produced some Beatles conventions in Bucks County.
Mm-hmm.
And very successful shows. We had John Lennon's first wife, Cynthia Lennon.
Wow.
Walter Shenson, who produced the Beatles films. Pete Best, the Beatles' first drummer.
Yeah, I remember you mentioned him.
I'm a big Beatles guy, as you know. And leaving in about a month and going on our 43rd Magical History Tour. You have the website under me for the Dracula Tours, but if people want to come on the Beatles tour, it's www.liverpooltours.com.
Okay.
Every summer we do the Beatles tour. Every October till November we do the Dracula Tours.
Okay. So one other matter of fact, little fun fact, I actually had a author on who was in radio by the name of Lori Kay, who came up with a book, Confessions of a I forgot. It was Confessions of
a radio jock or an AM DJ or something like that.
Well, she was in news. She was in news. She did the last interview with John Lennon the night he was shot. Lori
Kay.
Yes.
Of course. Yes.
Yes. She has been on this podcast, believe it or not, twice.
Yes.
So if you go on the YouTube channel, you'll find Lori Kay on there twice.
Right. We've met at some Beatles shows. Yeah.
Yeah. We talked about that. So one other question before we get to the question, and it's going to lead me into the questioning. What about doing a superhero type con, like a Comic Con?
First of all, Joey, I don't touch heroin, so there's no way I'm doing anything with it. It's a joke. I got you. Heroines like Supergirl and Wonder Woman and Black Widow.
Yeah.
I love it. I would never set foot in even thinking to do that's a Comic-Con in essence with a theme, and I couldn't even touch. There's so many big ones and great ones. Right next to me is the Rhode Island Comic-Con.
Yeah.
They're such good shows. But I would attend one because believe you me, aside from the new Supergirl movie, I do love the genre very much.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to introduce you to the podcast's number one fan, number one supporter, and she's a real life superheroine by the name of American Fox. And so she has all these questions for you. Some of them we've already touched on. So the first question we had is this. And I actually, in reference to me, I actually went to a Monkees concert this is when Davy Jones was still alive and Peter Tork was still alive.
So it probably 86 or 87?
Yeah, around 86, 87, yes.
Yeah.
At the PNC Bank Art Center.
Beautiful.
Yes. So, so her first question is: have you ever met or talked to any member of the Beatles or Monkees?
Well, firstly, the pecking order of wanting to meet would be the Beatles #1, the Monkees #2, and American Fox #3.
Well, you may have to come to Jersey for #3 in October.
Having said that,
Yeah.
I had the pleasure of being a dear friend with Pete Best, the Beatles' first drummer. I met Paul McCartney. I met on numerous occasions.
Okay.
I spoke to Ringo at press conferences. I got to ask him a question on the Phil Donahue show. So I've had a lot of close encounters with Ringo. And my only close encounter with George Harrison was in Japan at an airport after his concert.
Wow.
So everyone but John Lennon. As for the Monkees, here we come. All four of them. All four.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was closest with Davey and Peter.
Yeah.
I interviewed Mickey more times than I can count. And I had one great encounter with Mike Nesmith.
Yeah.
So we got to plug it. This coming up September 4th, 5th, and 6th. It's called M60 because it's the 60th anniversary of the Monkees.
Of the Monkees, yeah.
Monkees TV show. And if people want information, it's www.monkeysfanconvention.com. It's a bigger one than the others, but monkeysfanconvention.com. Special guests, tribute bands, panels, vendors. It's someone who doesn't know a convention. It's hard to explain it to you, Joey, but it's the ultimate for a fan.
Okay. All right. So question number 2, and we kind of you kind of touched on it earlier. What prompted you to create a haunted house?
So we haven't even touched on that, so all the things I do, music and horror, I always wanted to. I'd been to haunted houses and some of them suck. And some of them are like, really, they know what they're doing. And there's some jump scares and there's some really unexpected things. And I took it from a perspective of if I can do it as good or better than I've seen it, I will try to do that because I found out that there's nothing more fun than scaring the pants off of somebody. And that was you. You did it. It's like telling a joke in front of an audience. It's like getting applause after a scene or a song. And scares was just so much fun. And I owned and operated an Connecticut's largest indoor haunted attraction called Fright Haven.
Okay.
I sold it during COVID, before COVID. Took a few years off, and then I came back and I run something called the Haunted Trolley. And if you go to is it the Haunted Trolley or just hauntedtrolley.com? And we haven't put up yet what this year's theme is, but Joey, we'd actually do the event on a trolley, which takes a 20-minute ride out, 20-minute ride back, and we'll either do a murder mystery or an alien invasion or a seance. We do something different every year. So what did it? I'll tell you what did it. Me loving the scary stuff, and me wanting, that was one of my dreams that I had fulfilled, being able to do that.
Okay. All right. So hauntedtrolley.com. If you, matter of fact, give me a moment. Let me see.
Is it that or is it the Haunted Trolley? I really should
know.
Well,
I'm going to find out right now.
I'm looking it up while we talk.
Boston. It's called Boston Night Tour?
No, so it's change it to thehauntedtrolley.com.
Okay, no problem.
THE. And that's correct. I'm looking at it right now. And it still has my event from last year, which was the
Alien Invasion in Connecticut. Oh, okay.
This year we might do In Search of Sasquatch. We might do a Bigfoot one. I'm not sure yet.
Okay. All right. So question number 3, we kind of touched upon this one, definitely, from American Fox, is how did you set up the conventions and how And do you have guests? And I know you, like you said, you mentioned many of them.
Yeah, the first convention I ever did was in 1978. I was still high school or freshman college, and I thought, well, they have these big Beatles conventions in New York. They have some in Boston. Well, why don't I do it where I live in Connecticut? And I put on a tiny show. A few hundred people went. And then the next year I did it again at the university, and 1,000 people went. And then the next year too, then it grew exponentially. Every event we do, we have guests. At the Beatles show, it's a laundry list of every possible Beatle guest that has ever done Beatle conventions I've had as guest shows. At the Paracons, it's not only, one or two famous horror actors, but it's all these paranormal guests who are known worldwide for their, their experience and their validity. And yes, we always have guests at all the conventions. But if I had to tell you how I set them up, it's a 2-hour conversation because so much goes into finding the hotel, figuring out the market. Yeah, endless.
Yeah. Matter of fact, in reference to what I'm doing right now, I already have an idea of the hotel. I mean, I have the idea of the hotel and the, the possible participants. Right. And yes, believe it or not, American Fox is one of them. Okay.
She's there, I'm there.
Yeah. October 23rd, 24th, 25th. Where I'm looking at right now is not finalized yet because I'm still getting an idea on it.
Mm-hmm.
But I did put pre-sale tickets out.
Oh, interesting.
So they're $67.53.
Uh-huh.
And that gets you the entrance into the event itself.
Why $67.53?
Okay, here it goes.
You were waiting for me to ask that.
Yes, and I have no problem explaining it. You know how you have payment processors?
Mm-hmm.
Like Square?
Yep.
That's where the $2.53 comes from.
Oh, gotcha.
That's Square.
So it's $65 plus their fees.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what location? What, you have it at a hotel?
It's going to be at a hotel. It's going to be in a very historic hotel, to be precise.
Nice.
So I'm hoping to pre-sell tickets enough that I can get the room book, get that, excuse me, get that all set up at least.
What's the show? What's your title?
It's just the Life with Joey Calvo podcast meet and greet.
Oh, great.
Yeah. So
you realize you're picking the busiest weekend of the Halloween season. It's not Halloween weekend.
Yep.
The weekend before is the busiest time that people go to haunted attractions,
right,
to conventions. So you got a lot to compete with on that weekend.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and on top of that, the original idea, the original person I was looking forward to having was actually an adult actress. And right after that convention, she would have been going to one in Edison called Exotica.
Okay.
And so those dates just stick in my head because it led, the way I had it was the person I really wanted to be there.
Right. Was going to be in the area anyway. Is that Exotica? Exotica with the 3 X's?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So, but definitely I will say American Fox will be there. And so, like I said, that's where the $67.53 comes from in reference to why it's that amount.
Okay.
But it gets you into the door only. If you want an autograph with her or selfie with her, it's going to cost you cash.
Obviously, that's how it is with all the guests.
Yeah. Yeah, I want them to make money off of it. So that's why I do that. So right. I have no say in reference to how much they charge, if they're going to charge. You know, who knows? They may turn around and say, you know what? You paid $67 to come in. Here's an autograph. You can take a picture. It's whatever the participant wants to do. In reference to American Fox, she'll have posters to sign. In reference to it, and of course taking selfies, and also in reference to it, if you're in Atlantic City, you may come across another superhero who's actually been there much longer than American Fox will be, by the name of the AC Batman. Now, he's been all over Facebook recently. But there is an Atlantic City Batman in Atlantic City.
Mm-hmm.
And he actually has a bat bike, folks.
Wow.
He has a bat bike. So that's one goal that we're looking to solve. Well, we can't say solve, but catching up with the Atlantic City Batman is going to be the challenge.
Nice.
In reference to it. So, question number 4 from American Fox is this. What are your plans to use Dracula?
Well, I would never use Dracula because I have a reverence for his son, Bela Lugosi Jr.
Okay.
And the granddaughter. We're very good friends. So I would never use, because that's a real weird word. But what I do is I do the Dracula Tours, as you know, and hopefully American Fox can come on one of them. We go to Transylvania once a year, and we combine the legend and the history and the facts of Vlad Tepes, Vlad the Impaler, with the fiction and the pop culture of Bram Stoker's Dracula, and we put those together for the ultimate trip to Romania, and we do it once a year for a week, and people have the greatest time. They just have the greatest time on my tours. The Beatles tour that's coming up in August, and you popped up the
monkey one, yeah,
LiverpoolTours.com.
Oh, hold on, I'll put that back up.
No, that's fine. Thank you for that. So that's sold out.
That one's sold out. Okay. All right. All right. Sorry, folks. No luck with that one. All right. So, monkeysfanconvention.com, 60th anniversary of the Monkeys.
That's September.
They were a fun group back then.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, Mickey actually really made out like a quote unquote bandit during that time. And the reason why I say Mickey made out like a bandit is because his daughter Amy was an actress.
Correct. And I
his
think
daughter Amy was a very beautiful actress back in the 80s and 90s.
And I think they put out a book together.
Yeah.
Recently. And Mickey's still touring. God bless him. He's still, thank God, putting on amazing shows with an amazing voice.
Yeah.
And that's September 4th, 5th, and 6th in North Haven, Connecticut at a hotel. You can book your hotel rooms. You can book your tickets. You can have the time. If you like the Monkees and you're a fan of the 60s, you're going to have the time of your life. I can tell you that the actor Greg Evigan, who was my
BJ and the Bear.
BJ and the Bear.
Yep.
And my two dads were Davy Jones.
I remember both those. I used to watch both of those shows, believe it or not.
And Davy Jones was a guest on his on that show. And so, he'll be one of our guests. We just found out today. So
when you reach out to these guests, I would love to suggest, if they're interested in coming on my podcast, I would love to have them.
Great.
Yeah, they're welcome to come. I would like to have a chat with Greg Evigan, especially how it worked, how it was like, because I actually tried to reach out to Stacey Keenan, believe it or not, because she also did Step by Step with the late Suzanne Summers.
Oh wow, right.
And Patrick Duffy, and I used to watch that show, and I used to like Stacey Keenan, so definitely I would love to chat with Greg Evigan, because when he did that show, he had a young Paul Reiser on there as well.
Right.
And that led, and Paul Reiser went up from there as well. But, Greg Evigan, stayed kind of low-keyed, in reference to it. And, for those that don't know, we actually just lost Randolph Mantooth from Emergency.
Yeah, just
Johnny Gage. And he was also in soap operas and other TV shows. So
we have to treasure our pop culture heroes.
Oh yes.
You don't know how long they'll be with us and how many opportunities you might have to take a picture with them or sign an autograph.
Yeah. And like I said, I would love I will tell you the closest I'll tell you the two celebrities I've had on this podcast.
Go on. Okay?
Gregory Jabara from CBS's Blue Bloods.
Yeah.
I've had him. We chatted, and he was in his Michigan gear that day, and that was the day that William Shatner went to space.
Wow.
And we actually were talking as William Shatner was going up to space.
Amazing.
So we put it onto YouTube. So if you go on the YouTube channel and click Life with Gregory Jabbar, you will see that it's past an hour in reference to it, because at the time when you're able to record, you only get an hour to record
right
on it. But with the YouTube, we actually went over an hour.
Wow.
The other one, and she doesn't like being called a supermodel, but model and actress Carol Alt.
Oh, amazing.
And on top of that, we do talk at least once a week.
That's amazing. So you had Jabbar, you had Carol Alt, and you had Charles Rosenay. Wow, this is amazing.
Oh, wait a minute. Now, if we're going to go musical.
Yeah.
Okay. I actually had a smooth jazz guitarist who I became close relationship with.
Who's that?
Eric Essex. He's a smooth jazz guitarist. He came out with a song called Late Night Drive that kept coming on my Spotify.
Yeah.
And so he has a YouTube channel. And so I went on his YouTube channel one day and I said, Eric, listen, I do a podcast. Would you like to come on? He didn't even blink. He said, yeah. He's been on the podcast twice.
How cool.
We have known each other for about 5 years.
Nice.
The first time I had him on, Charles, I turned around. I felt like a kid in the candy store.
Right.
And I said, listen, I would love an autographed CD.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking in my head, why did I just say that? Why did it come out of my mouth? Would you believe in a week I had an autographed CD of songs from The Big Chair, which includes the song Late Night Drive?
Wow.
And I do not touch that CD. It's sitting on my counter.
I love it.
Yeah. So I've had him. I've had Philadelphia Legends. I even had, believe it or not, folks, I actually had Matthew Lesko, the Grant guy with the question mark suits.
There you go.
I've had him on the podcast as well.
I love it.
So, as we're getting ready to get near the end of time,
yes.
We also have the hauntedtrolley.com. And
right.
So
Halloween, yes.
Yes, for Halloween. And so check around possibly September. You'll see the new theme that he'll have out.
Right.
And get your tickets for that.
Yes.
And I slipped that we are doing a meet and greet as of October 23rd, 24th, 25th in Atlantic City. So you can go to lifewithjoeycalvo.website, and in the middle, you will see the event about it, and you can pick a time that you can meet American Fox in person. There will be 6 sessions. First session is 10 to 2. Second session is 3 to 7 p.m. So, get your tickets now, so that way you're the first in, and there to meet her in person and bringing her to Atlantic City, because she's never been out this way.
Where's she from?
So we are going to make that happen. So so within the minute that we have left,
yes,
what's next outside of everything we talked about for Charles?
Next is August 8th and 9th, CT Witch Fest. And that's a free ctwitchfest.com. It's a free admission show. 2 days of everything culturally connected with the original exonerated witches and current witchcraft and all that fun stuff, Wiccans and all that. And then looking ahead, November 14th, we're doing the Salem Paracon, which was like the Connecticut one I just did, but in Salem, Massachusetts. And then next year, we will do the same thing. We'll do another Paracon. We'll do another Beatles tour, another Dracula tour, and by then we'll have the new book out on the monkeys, which will be out the end of this year. It's called the Monkeys Comic Book. It's a book all about the monkeys comic books and the monkeys themselves.
Okay, and you're welcome to come back on the podcast as well, Charles, anytime, in reference to promoting that book when it comes out.
Thank you.
It would be great to have, and I thank you so much for coming on the podcast as well. And folks, check it out. I mean, there's all these interesting tours coming up. The Liverpool tour may be sold out, but you got the Monkeys Fan Convention coming up. You got the HauntedTrolley.com tour coming up. You got Drac Tours coming up. So, I mean, you got a lot of horror, and who knows? I mean, I will tell you that I actually did this. I actually took an AI version of American Fox for Halloween. You have to go to deviantart.com to possibly see it.
And my final plug is that if someone wants to buy any one of my 5 books, Beatles, horror, ghost stories, monkeys, turtles, we never mentioned the turtles. Yeah. Just look up my last name, Rosenay, Rosenay, on Amazon, and you'll be able to find all the books. And I know we're on the hour. So thank you, Joey, for hosting me. I love chatting with you, and we'll have to do it again sometime.
Yep, not a problem. Like I said, just reach out to me, and we'll set up a date, maybe before the end of the year, when the book comes out, and so on.
Sounds great. Thank you again.
All right. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching the Life with Joey Calvo podcast. God bless you all.